Hello, guys and gals, and apparently the review embargo for The Suicide Squad from writer-director James Gunn has been released. The latest venture into the DCEU, and the DC universe really needed a win, especially when it comes to the DCEU. I mean, when it's just DC overall, I mean, they had Joker. But when it comes to the DCEU, it really needed a win. Because when it comes to Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's kind of a 50-50 thing. I'm not going to get into that, but it really needed like an overall win, and we'll get into that in a second. And I will say this, that I am, of course, a DC fan. I like both properties, but I do prefer DC overall. So it's been kind of hard being a fan of the live-action movies like the last 10 years. But, oh, man, just seeing what we're about to see, it just makes me so happy. And, yeah, because I have been a Suicide Squad fan for a while, not just from, 2016. I first got introduced to them in Justice League Unlimited in the Task Force X episode. But, of course, that's, the kid-friendly version, so you can't have their heads blown off or blown up or anything. But what really got me into the Suicide Squad was Batman Assault on Arkham. So even though it's called Batman Assault on Arkham, it is a Suicide Squad movie. It's an animated movie. This is the fourth Suicide Squad movie total. There's 2 live action and then 2 animated. So for the 2 live action, you have the 2016 version, which of course, did do great, obviously. But then you have this one, which we'll get into in a second. Then you have the 2 animated ones, Batman Assault on Arkham, which is it's one of my favorite animated movies from DC. I love it. And then you have Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which is a really good movie as well. So let's go ahead and get into what the critics are saying about the Suicide Squad, and we will venture onto Rotten Tomatoes because that's what everyone pays attention to. So let's go ahead and get into that. So at the time I'm recording this, it currently sits at 99% with 68 reviews. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was honestly shocked when I saw this. Now, I don't always get on board with Rotten Tomatoes, but just, it's just what everybody looks for. And I was honestly surprised it was that high. I thought at the highest it was going to be 85%, right? And I was getting a little concerned because it just seemed like it was taking so long for the review embargo to lift. And also they were releasing all these featurettes and things like that. To me, that's why I got concerned, because I was concerned with them releasing all these featurettes and it seemed like trailer after trailer, because that's kind of what the 2016 movie did too. And then, of course, saw what happened with the critics. It's like, that's why I was kind of getting a little worried. But in James Gunn, we trust, because currently it is getting just critically acclaimed right now, which makes me so happy. Now, of course, I can't state my own opinion on it yet because I haven't seen it. And that is something I need to emphasize, and everyone needs to emphasize, is don't let these critical reviews, or especially Rotten Tomatoes, because this is an issue with a lot of people, help form your opinion on a movie. Right? So even though for me it's awesome to see that score, it really is, of course I'm going to wait till I actually see it to form my own opinion, because I hope it is great. But there's been times that, say, with Rotten Tomatoes, for example, where they give a movie a score, but I'm like, hey, it was actually pretty decent. Or they give a movie a really high score, I'm like, I didn't really care for that. You just always need to form your own opinion. Never blindly critique a movie or just form your own opinion because of what everybody else is saying. Just don't be on the bandwagon, or don't just blindly critique a movie. But to me, this is very exciting, and I hope when I go see it next week, I really hope that it is really, really good, because it looks a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun, actually. So let's go ahead and get into some of the reviews. So first, we're going to do the critics' consensus, and at the time that I took this photo, obviously it was earlier because it's only 47 reviews, and it was at 100%, but it has been sticking to the 98 to 100% range, which is really, really good. And the critics' consensus is, enlivened by writer-director James Gunn's singularly skewed vision, The Suicide Squad marks a funny, fast-paced rebound that plays to the source material's violent, anarchic strengths. So, I mean, obviously we know there's comedy. We know there's going to be comedy. We've heard a lot about that. Now, I will say this. Everyone knows this. Comedy is subjective. Remember, we've all seen the clips and trailers. For everyone that thinks that this one thing's funny, there will always be that other person that doesn't, and vice versa, okay? So, comedy is subjective. So, because I will say that there's been some jokes that's like, okay, that's pretty funny. Other times it's like, I don't know. But comedy is subjective, okay? It's never objective. It's fast-paced in a good way, because one of the many critiques about the 2016 movie is that it was too fast-paced because obviously it was edited like a music video. And then it plays to the source material because it's violent, which I've heard that quite a bit. It's very gory and violent, which is like, heck yeah, baby, I can't wait to see that. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these reviews, but I'll just read a couple of them. So Ed Potton from the Times UK, you have Now That's How You Do It, pretty straightforward. Clarice Leray from the Independent UK, apparently I like picking the United Kingdom ones. Gunn's distinct and self-assured vision, which he said was left untouched and unbothered by studio interference. Warner Brothers puts the Suicide Squad alongside the very best of modern comic book filmmaking. Now, I'm going to touch on that real quick because Gunn made it very clear, and, didn't really know if he was telling the truth or not, but we just assumed he was, saying how they told him he could do whatever he wanted. Now, Warner Brothers, you see what happens when you let at least most of your directors do what they want, right? Because this is the same studio that with Man of Steel, they didn't want Superman's pod to get destroyed because how is he going to get back to Krypton? It's like, that's what they actually said. And it's like, everyone knows Superman's origin story. Not people who don't even follow comics know his origin story. Just like everyone knows Batman's parents get shot. Everyone knows Krypton gets blown up. And that's literally the first half of the movie. The same people who didn't want that trench scene in Wonder Woman, arguably the best scene and one of the best scenes in the whole DCEU. They edited Suicide Squad 2016 like a music video and just totally massacred David Ayer's version. Now, I'm not saying his own cut is amazing, because obviously I can't because I haven't seen it, but I would assume it's better than what we got. And the same people who thought that Justice League was better than Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, you can say what you want about that movie too, but I think you can't really deny that it's at least better than Justice League, right? They finally let a director do what they wanted and 100% control, and this is the result. I'm sorry I had to go on that little rant. It's just WB has been very frustrating with their handling of the DCEU because they have been the greatest DCEU villains. So I guess if I'm going to read one more from this one, Barry Hertz from the Globe and Mail or whatever. Sometimes you just need to watch a humanoid shark tear a man in half. Yeah, we saw that in the trailer. Go King Shark. I can't wait to see him. A couple more reviews. We have Jesse Hassanger. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, from Sports Alcohol. Even more than the Guardians of the Galaxy pictures, Gunn's Suicide Squad overflows with characters and personalities. And then Eric Eisenberg from Cinema Blend. If you're an individual hooked into Gunn's wavelength, you're going to have a raucous good time. Or raucous, whatever. So yeah, critics are loving this quite a bit. So far, there's only been very few who have disliked it. And yeah, it's just looking really great. So in case you don't know the synopsis of the movie, the general premise, I'm sure most people do, but if you don't, Welcome to Hell, aka Bell Rev, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A, how patriotic, where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out. Even join the super secret, super shady Task Force X, aka Suicide Squad. Today's do or die assignment, assemble a collection of cons including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho Harley Quinn, along with many others. Then arm them heavily and drop them literally on the remote enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese, which is a fictional place, trekking through a jungle teeming with militant adversaries and guerrilla. So that was maybe like a third or half of the actual inmates in the movie, because there's a lot of them, but I hope people realize, because there's some people out there that think that, oh, there's too many characters. Trust me, half of them, 3/4 of them are going to die within like the first half hour. I guarantee it. I haven't seen it, but I would assume like half, if not more, are going to die within the first half hour. So, especially with the Alpha Squad. So that's the general premise of the movie. It's, decent length, 2 hours, 12 minutes, and it's rated R. Awesome. Love that. Language throughout, drug use, brief graphic nudity, some sexual references, and then the fun part, the strong violence and gore, which I honestly cannot wait to see. So that is the critics roundup of the Suicide Squad. And of course, I cannot wait to see it, because I didn't mention this earlier, but when I saw the first Red Band trailer, even though I'm a big DC fan, when I saw the first Red Band trailer, I was kind of iffy with the movie. I was kind of like, because I think we can all agree that the first trailer was kind of iffy. It's probably the worst out of all the trailers. But then to me, it seemed like with each trailer after that, and with all these featurettes, it was looking better and better. And now seeing it get critically acclaimed, that's getting me even more excited. But once again, I will emphasize to see the movie for yourself and form your own opinion. Once again, do not blindly critique a movie that you haven't seen, or don't jump on the bandwagon, okay? Go see it for yourself, or if you're not interested in seeing it, then just don't go see it, because I'm sure there are people who aren't interested in seeing it. But if you are one of those people that's just going to blindly, critique it, or just jump on a bandwagon, actually go see it for yourself and then form your own opinion. Because that's what I'm going to do. Because, yeah, seeing all these critical reviews are great, and the critic reviews, but yeah, it's like I'm going to go see it for myself, and I'll form my own opinion, because it looks like it's going to be a blast, and I hope it really is, and I think I will really enjoy it, but I won't know until I actually see it. So, of course, that is the Critics Roundup for the Suicide Squad. What do you think about it? And are you stoked to see the Suicide Squad? And honestly, I think James Gunn should just take care of the DCEU. He should be the head of the DCEU for the future. Screw these Warner Brothers executives that are just so stupid. But can he please take the reins? But yeah, what do you think about the Suicide Squad? Are you stoked to see it? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, I'd love to see you all next time.